Welcome to Thinking Outside the Soil with your host, Johnny Alfalfaseed, where we get to talk story and touch on topics about hydroponics and the farmers who grow the crops and creatures we need to eat. Good morning, and hello from Blooming Health Farms. And thank you for being with me on this beautiful morning. We have our cooler mornings here back in Colorado, and we're getting more and more rain this year. And I find it ironic because I started this show and wrote my book, Thinking Outside the Soil, because of all of the conversations we were having about drought. And today I wanted to talk about the water-saving potentials of hydroponics. And I wanted to ask my listeners out there, what if you could save over 90% of your water on your farm? Well, I want to touch on some of the water-saving benefits of our sprouting methods. So just a quick backstory about my journey in hydroponics. I first got into hydroponics to originally grow tomatoes. And then I learned about this awesome form of agriculture called aquaponics from a guy named J.D. Sawyer at Colorado Aquaponics before I rushed off to Hawaii to become a hydroponic guy. And it took a while for us to find our legs here with our nonprofit aquaponics farm. And I have talked extensively about chickens throughout the show and how I brought home chickens and incorporated them into our nonprofit. Well, the chickens and a few of the youth I worked with really were the ones who showed me how to use our hydroponic methods to grow way more feed using significantly less resources like water. And right now we are using our aquaponic system to grow both duckweed and sprouts for our chickens. And we actually use fresh water to do our initial sprouting process and are able to use the wastewater from our sprouting process to grow our duckweed. And all of that work is what transformed into the book that talks about the benefits of hydroponic fodder. But before I get into more about that, I do have a tiny request. If you have enjoyed the show so far, please be so kind as to leave a review, share your thoughts, your wishes, your dreams, your likes, or maybe what it is you don't like. I'd love to hear what you don't like as well. But don't forget to subscribe so you do get the latest episodes. I wrote about the tomato inspiration in my book, Thinking Outside the Soil, so check out chapter 1 on audiobook or get yourself a physical copy if you like to read. What I learned was that the Epcot Center tomato that I saw in my book that inspired me was using almost 90% less water than a tomato grown in soil, and that was what really set me out on a path to grow food with hydroponics. I studied hydroponics in every book that I could find before I ultimately learned about aquaponics. And honestly, I fell in love with aquaponics. Well, a few years later, after I got sober and found my love in sustainable agriculture, I met the man named Ryan Smith that co-founded Blooming Health Farms. Now, early on in our endeavor, we struggled to find our legs with our first produce. We proposed to grow crops using my hydroponic expertise, but some of the competitors in our area were able to outcompete me at the time given my limited resources. So we found our niche with sprouts and microgreens. And along the way, our failures and successes with those ultimately led to chickens and feeding out those sprouts to chickens. Well, at the same time, there was this conversation about drought and an urging from all of the water-strapped farmers in our area to understand how they could better use their water, and they were encouraging me to teach them how to use hydroponic methods to grow food differently. And it transpired in a lot of different ways. I get the opportunity to work as a volunteer with Weld County Extension. So I speak with a lot of different soil farmers in those avenues. I'm also able to have conversation with those in traditional agricultural programs like 4-H and FFA. So, for instance, we had the opportunity to build out an aquaponics system and the beginnings of a hydroponic fodder system at Greeley West High School here in Greeley for an FFA teacher. And I share a lot about that in a previous episode, and it's really great because it showed me that there is a need. Well, that need turned into that book, Thinking Outside the Soil. So check it out. It elucidates what I found, and it shows you the wealth of information about how other farmers and researchers are proving that hydroponics is indeed an awesome way to do agriculture. I truly do believe that hydroponics is one of our saviors in sustainable agriculture. And when promoting my book and going out and talking to others about what I had done, I first tried to talk to cattlemen. But I quickly found out that there is already an established hydroponic fodder industry for the cattle industry. And so when I went out to say, hey, I'm Sean, this is what I'm doing, they said, yeah, we know, it's awesome already, go away, we've already got it figured out. So I said, okay, yeah, I get it, I'm new, I am trying to do something slightly different than you, but what about chickens? Are you guys interested in chickens? I first started asking those conversations with the large cattle producers and the companies that were selling fodder to dairies and beef cattle. I wanted to see if there was any interest in going towards poultry, and they aptly said our focus, or rather their focus, is on cattle. Well, there led me to the chicken and digging into the poultry world as I have. It's a lot of it because I was shut out from speaking with cattlemen. Well, the other reality is there's almost 22 billion chickens in this world, with current estimates of human population somewhere around 7 billion. That's an average of 3 chickens per human being. So our mission here at Blooming Health Farms is to promote food security. And if I think about just those numbers alone, the 3-to-1 ratio of chickens to humans, there's a huge potential for creating or changing or developing a more resilient food system. Now, I started off this show talking about water, and one of the most impactful or important things about water and hydroponics and chickens is the egg. The egg is almost 70% water, and chickens drink a significant amount of water, especially in the summer when we have these hot temperatures. Many of you may be seeing right now on the popular social medias of people giving advice for how to keep your poultry cool during these heat waves. Well, I am here to say, what if you could help your hens by simply sprouting fodder rather than going through all of the rigmarole to create these water cooling methods that we're seeing on Instagram? So, for instance, I am watching these videos and advices about people going out and putting out large tubs of ice water for their chickens. Now, I just want to put pause on that for anyone out there that actually has a busy lifestyle or is trying to run an actual profitable business or profitable farm. Going out and putting out ice water for chickens is a probably inefficient use of our time and B, it's hot outside and that ice is melting significantly faster than you think it is, and it's really not doing much to cool off the chickens. It would be better just to have a water source that is constantly moving or replenishing. But I digress with my little criticism there. Our chickens are able to get a lot of their initial water requirements and then their other water requirements throughout the day because they are eating hydroponic sprouts. One of the benefits of hydroponic fodder is that the food stuff is packed full of vitamins and minerals and other macronutrients. One of those being the water. So your animals are benefiting from eating this food stuff that is packed full of all of this awesomeness. Now, when writing the book, there were over 120 plus references that I read and reviewed that showed plenty of farmers were able to use hydroponic methods to save water. And so I took that information and learned that a lot of poultry farmers can benefit from simply using hydroponic fodder. They not only saved water, but they got great products from their flocks. So the sprouts studied in the research showed that there was a significant reduction in water used to grow a specific crop. The sprouts also have a lot more water compared to forage or dry commercial feed. So in essence, the chickens drink less water or less of the standing water that we have to put in our stock tanks. Now, that's only when they are getting a regular diet inclusive of sprouted fodder. I've seen it here at our laying farm. The water is not filled as often as I expected, so we use a large 55-gallon drum system with nipple waters, so those hens have free access all the time. Right now, with 60 hens drinking off only one water, we go through about 110 gallons every 10 days, and that's not bad considering chickens drink a lot of water, and we've been experiencing our almost 100-degree days here in Colorado. And a lot of that has to do with this strategy that I came up with to grow our live feed every day for the flock. So for example, our Site B farmer only uses about 2 or 3 gallons of water each day to grow feed for about 100 chickens, and he's able to do that in about 30 minutes. Now, of note is he's on well water, so his inclination to save water is slightly different than ours here in the city. Ethan also owns a painting company, so he appreciates that he can do it so quickly and then get off to do his summer work. And as any of you tradesmen out there know, summer is the time to paint and do the other work. What I'm most excited about is that Ethan and his family are able to build wealth by pursuing something that they love. They wanted to become homesteaders, but ultimately they wanted to become profitable homesteaders and be financially free for themselves by taking on all of these agricultural side gigs. And I am just elated to see that they are having so much success by using a hydroponic method to grow really, really awesome eggs. But that is all I have today for this show. If you'd like to know more about how hydroponic fodder is helping other farmers save water, improve their livestock quality, and helping us all become better stewards, head on over to thinkingoutsidethesoil.com and get yourself a copy of my book and check out the free resources below the show. As a special gift to you as my listener, there is a free sprouting video and other information about all of the things that I've talked about. So please do subscribe to the show, get the book, watch that video, Look at all of those other links so you don't miss out on becoming part of this next agricultural revolution. And thank you for being with us on today's show, and join me again on another episode of Thinking Outside the Soil. Take care and have a lovely day. Hey, before you go, check out the links below, and if you'd be so kind as to leave a rating and review and follow the show. For those with feathered friends, don't forget to get yourself some of our Blooming Health Farms Chicken Blend Sprouting Mix. This supplemental mix has been shown to give you some of the best eggs with the yummiest yolks. You'll have happy, healthy hens that abandon the feeder and give you eggs with high levels of vitamin A and omega fatty acids. So don't forget to get yourself some Blooming Health Farms Chicken Blend Sprouting Mix.